Now that you've learned the basics of puppet movement and lip synchronization and hand motions, let's really try to bring it to life by giving your puppet a unique voice. You could just keep using your own voice, but then when the kids hear the puppet, they'll know right away that it's you. So it's probably better to give your puppet a different voice, something that goes along with their look and their character. We're going to start with 5 basic voices today. And then once you learn these simple voices, you can start to adapt them and change them to fit your puppet and his personality. You could also start using these voices when you tell a story to kids. It's always more interesting when the characters in the story have a special voice or make interesting sounds. Each of the voices that we're going to learn today has a core sound, a special syllable that fits the character and helps you get into the range for that voice. So as you start talking with your puppet, the first few minutes will go pretty well. But after a bit, we tend to drift back into our own voice again. And that's when the core sound can bring you right back into character. I'll show you what I mean. The first voice is a very nasal sound, a little bit like Bugs Bunny. And the core sound is nya, nya. Try it with me. Nya. The sound comes from the back of your nose and throat. Nya. Okay, so let's try saying a sentence in that voice. Nya, how are you? Nya, what's your name? Remember that when you hear your voice drifting back into your own voice, just use that core sound and that'll pull you right back into the character's voice. Nya. Now let's pause the video here and let you practice counting from 1 to 10 or have a simple conversation. Great. Now let's try one more voice. This one usually fits best with a character that's a little bit slow or dull. The core sound is duh. That sound comes from opening up the back of your throat and using lower tones. Duh. Duh, I don't know. Duh, which way did he go? Duh. Okay? So now let's count to 10. Duh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Duh. 7, 8, 9. Duh. 10. Duh. Okay. Let's pause the video now and try introducing yourself to someone using this voice and the core sound, duh. Good. And remember, if you start to hear your own voice tone coming back, just use the core sound to put you back on track. Ready for one more? Let's try an old person's voice. It's going to use a lot of air and a very tight throat. The core sound is, hey, hey. Can you hear how much air we're using in this sound? Hey, hey there, kid. Hey, what are you doing here? Using a lot of air. It helps if you hunch over a little bit to try to get you into character. Hey, when I was your age, there weren't any fancy cell phones and toys. We played a lot with rocks and sticks, hey? Okay, now it's time to pause the video and use this core sound to help you share your favorite old-time memory. Okay, for this next voice, you'll still need to use a lot of air, but a much higher and softer voice. This is the voice for a child. And the core sound is hum, hum. And, hi, my name is Timmy. What's your name? Okay, think about how young children communicate. They often repeat words or stutter a bit or even use the wrong word. So try saying this rhyme about Mary and her lamb. Mary had a little lamb, and a little lamb. Its fleas were white as snow. Good. Now let's pause the video and you try to finish telling the story of Mary's lamb like a little child would. Okay, good job. Now let's try the last voice. It's a bit harder, and we usually don't use it a lot because it's really tough on your voice. It's the voice of a bad guy in the story. He sounds a bit like a pirate. In fact, the core sound is arr, arr. Can you do that? You tighten up the back of your throat and you use really low tones. Arr! Almost a growl. Can you hear that? Arr! Hey, who said you could come near me? Hey, arr! You better get out of here. And I mean it now. Arr! Can you feel the scratchy the scratching that it makes on your throat and your voice? It's hard to stay in that character voice, so you'll find that you'll need to use that core sound more often. Now, let's try the Giant of the Beanstalk story. Arr, fee, fi, fo, fum, I smell the blood of an Irishman. Arr. Okay, let's pause the video one last time and try barking out some instructions to the kid next door. Good. Now you have at least 5 new voices that you can use with your puppets or in telling your next story. And be sure that you practice ahead of time. Think about the unique phrases that your character might use, or funny ways that they might talk. Try speeding up the voice or slowing way down. You can make the tone much higher or very low. Experiment, have some fun, and remember the 5 core sounds that we learned. Yeah, is everybody here? Or, duh, I don't know, I'm here. Or, hey, you need to speak up, bub. My name ain't Bub, I'm Timmy. All right already, let's get this show on the road. And now it's time for you to start practicing your puppet voices.